Lacho.
Ann Pierce.
Jason Henry.
Heidi Duford.
Doreen Wittenberg.
Lauren Peruccio.
Tim Broderick.
Mike Folin.
First thing we're doing is we're going to open a public hearing. We are seeking, the joint board seeking public input for the possibility of adding varsity football to the athletic program for Prospect Mountain High School. With opening with that, I will ask that our athletic director, James Christie, please talk a few words about the possible program.
I'm gonna face this way. How's everyone doing? There was a handout up at the top. Make sure you grab one. If you haven't, I'll float around afterwards and hand some out. But I'm basically going to use it as the talking points for today, and I'm going to be really brief because we want to hear from you. So thank you for being here. Number one, quick overview about how this kind of came about with NHIA specifically. The football committee approached me in November and said, hey, I know there's been some rumors about you guys starting a football program. Is that something you would look to do? We are interested in adding a team the fall of 2026. So the typical timeline when you do this, you got to go play a year or two or JV, prove that you have a program, and then they give you the opportunity to be on a schedule. We were presented with an opportunity here to not have to do that and get right on a varsity schedule. The way the NHIA works, it's always a 2-year cycle. So if we miss this cycle, it's not next year, it's the year after, and they may not allow us to go right into a varsity schedule. We may have to do JV for 2 years, which means it's 4 years until we actually have varsity football here. Just to give you an idea of how that all came together. There's a meeting on the 21st of January. If we get approved, I'm going to go to that meeting, present all the information that we have. They will put us on a varsity schedule at that point, ready for the fall of 2026. Survey results, there's a question about kind of demand. What do the numbers look like? We sent it out, and we basically asked people to rank if you would play 1 to 10. 1 being I would never play, 10 being sign me up right now. We had 122 responses, 75 families gave an answer of 6 or above on that scale, with 44 giving a 10 out of 10. So those survey results gave us 56 high school eligible athletes. That would be for next year, 9th through 12th grade. What's the impact on fall sports? Listen, I love football. I want football here. I'm an athletic director. I'm here to grow all sports at this school. First thing I did when I got that survey is went through and figured out who's currently playing a fall sport. So on that list, out of the 56 responses, we have 12 that currently play a fall sport. That's a mixture of golf, fishing, and soccer. So that's 40-something kids who are not playing a fall sport that are looking for an avenue to play a sport in the fall here at the high school. Feeder program. So we have these kids now. What about in the future? I learned a lot over the last 2 months about how many kids in our community play football. We have Rochester Youth Football, which they're going to speak here today and talk a little bit about it. I'm going to kill a little bit of your numbers, but there's 38 kids, 38 5th through 8th graders playing football from Alton and Barnstead in Rochester alone. Kingswood, you're looking at probably 20 plus, 25 plus if you take the full Barnstead group and then along with the Alton group. And we have Alton community members on those boards, like they're a part of those organizations. You have Dover, we at least have 6, 7 kids there. No jokes, kids. I see you, buddy. I see you right now. And then Farmington, I wasn't able to get exact numbers from them, but a minimum of 5, and they actually reached out saying it's probably a much higher number. So we don't need to rush out and create a feeder program to make this work here. We have the feeder programs in place. We're going to look to partner with them, both from a kid level, but also a coaching level. But, hopefully that answers some questions about just what is the demand in this area, what do the numbers look like. I was pleasantly surprised to see how many Barnstead and Alton kids are actively playing tackle football right now. That's without a pathway in high school. So you think about adding that pathway, I think you see increased numbers. That speaks to sustainability of what this program could look like long term. Yeah, all the numbers were tackle, yes. So never mind flag football and other versions of football that folks are playing. Budget, and this is obviously a critical question. I'm going to be really simple about this, and there's more detail in here. The capital items will be paid for out of the capital plan. This is field goal posts, blocking dummies, blocking sleds, tackling dummies, those sort of things. The uniforms to outfit a kid, we're going to look to the community. We're going to fundraise the startup cost of getting everyone in their uniforms. We also are going to fundraise the first year operating costs. So you all are here, I think most of you want football, we're going to be looking back to the community saying, we want it too, we're going to get it off the ground, the school is budgeted in the capital plan for us to get all the stuff here needed to bring football. We need to outfit them and have them operate year one, and then in year two, that annual operating cost will be proposed to be in the budget to move forward. So really the heavy lifting is go out, fundraise, get the kids fully equipped, have our year one operating costs, and that's how we plan to put this whole thing together. By the way, I saw some questions on the community page about insurance. We've gone and asked the insurance carrier, there will not be an increase in insurance. So just to make sure everyone's on the same page with that. All right, next one. There's this general thought of just how expensive football is. The startup costs are expensive. The annual year-to-year costs are not much different than other sports that we have here. So I put together just a little comparison of what our cost for soccer, for example, in the fall was versus what our projected cost of what football would be. And you'll see here when you look at them side by side, the number's 20,000 for football and soccer is just under 14,000. The primary driver in that difference is you have to recertify equipment. So that's a real big chunk of that difference. But in football, you play 7, maybe 8 games. In soccer, you play 16 to 20 games. So think about all the extra busing, the reffing, those sort of things that you don't have in football. But obviously, that's offset by some of the additional costs like recertifying helmets, pads, those sort of things. So I just thought it was important to show it side by side for everyone because, listen, all sports come with a cost. The idea of football being that much more expensive, yes, to start it up, and we have some plans in place to deal with that, but the annual operating costs are not much different than other varsity sports that we have here at Prospect Mountain. So how are we going to raise the money? We have a wonderful booster club. I've been in conversation with the head of the booster club. We are not looking to create a separate entity or an arm. We're going to operate within their infrastructure, so no new club. That'll make things really easy. We will have a football president. There will be football-specific members that we're looking to A, raise money, and B, divide up tasks, right? So you need chain gangs and ticket takers and all those things that traditionally for high school football, you look to members of the community, specifically people on the team, to volunteer for those so we don't have that additional cost. We have some great ideas already, and if this gets approved, there is a sheet up there. All of you are so excited about football. There's a Friends of Football sheet up there that lets me know that you want to assist with the fundraising. So if we get approved, please fill that out. And the last thing, this is more fun for me. You have football, you want Friday night lights, right? We don't have lights here. We do bring in lights for homecoming. It's a great event. I get asked every year, can we do it more? Well, when we rent the lights, we get them for a week, so we try to jam as many games in as possible. Part of the plan we put together is we'll have our one homecoming game under the lights, and then we will look to bring the lights in for an additional game as well, so we have some additional Friday night lights here. The benefit of that is that it's for other sports as well. The lights are here for a week. That gives soccer more games under the lights and more opportunities for other athletes, here at the school. So I would just end with this. I think there's a lot of you that are football people. I'm a football guy. My kids went to school here. I live in Barnstead. How cool would it be to be here on a Friday night under the lights watching football on that field over there? It's built for it. I'm really excited, to have you all here. And by the way, if you have some questions or some concerns, please ask them. I put a lot of info in here. There's like 10 more pages of actual details where we've gone and tried to really figure out, we're going quickly, but let's make sure we cover all of our bases, we, dot all our i's, cross all our t's, and be prepared, because if it is a yes, we got to get going real quick. So thank you all very much. Thank you for the time, and I'll turn it back over to Jason.
Thank you. So the way this is going to work is, I can speak loud enough. The way it work is, ask people to come to the mic, state your name, where you're from. We're going to try to do 3 minutes for each, a lot of people here, for individuals to say whatever you want, for, against, or wherever your mindset's at. And if we have to come back through again and make another round, we'll do that as well, but want to everybody have an opportunity to speak. I will add into the record that a Mr. Terrence O'Rourke sent an email who could not be here tonight in support of the football program. So I just want to make sure that's in the record. With that, I'll ask anyone wants to come to the mic. Again, state your name, where you're from.
Good evening. My name is Matt Hatch. I'm a Barnstead resident, but I am also the president of Rochester Youth Football. And I just wanted to kind of touch upon some of the numbers that he spoke about. So just to kind of build off that, our 5th and 6th grade program for last year, just for Barnstead, Stratford, and Alton, was 16 kids, and for grades 7 and 8, it was 22 kids. So 38 kids, we were spot on with it, and that does not include flag, cheer, any other feeder programs that we have. And then also, you spoke about feeder programs. We're more than willing to support the feeder program, whether that means we have a co-op out of Barnstead or Alton, and then you guys work with us and work that way. But we're more than willing to help and support any way we can. And we spoke about it kind of at our board meeting last night, how much we are going to support this. So I just wanted to get up there and tell all of you about the numbers and also speak to you guys about it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'll switch back and forth, so I'll go to this mic next.
Thanks, Jason. No, you said it the right height, thank you. Appreciate you. My name's Corey Halverson. I'm a Barnstead resident, and I'm the boys varsity coach here. I did write something up just so I didn't forget anything, because I don't do a lot of public speaking or anything or standing up in front of people ever, so just kidding. To the board and the community, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak here tonight. Like I said, I'm not just here as a boys varsity coach, but also as a mentor and someone who believes deeply in what athletics can do for young people. Coaches are leaders on and off the field. I believe it's our responsibility, and it extends far beyond wins and losses. We shape habits, attitudes, and character. For those who know me well, my leadership doesn't stop at the sidelines. It's about helping young men and women become accountable to teammates, resilient competitors, and positive members of their community. I want to be very honest with you tonight. As someone who's dedicated my life to sports, it would be very hypocritical of me to deny others the ability and the opportunity to play a sport that they love. I coach soccer because I love the game, but I love what sports do for kids even more. I believe if we believe that athletics matter, then we have to believe the opportunity matters. My job as a soccer coach is to build a program that players want to be a part of. I don't teach my athletes to complain about field conditions. I don't ask them to rip goalposts out of the ground. I don't allow them to complain about portable lights for night games. I don't allow excuses. I teach them to control what they can control, to compete with pride and to rise to the challenges rather than fear them. That philosophy, for me, doesn't change just because a new program is introduced. It becomes more important. What does matter is that all sports are treated fairly and equally. Supporting football does not mean diminishing soccer or any other sport at this school. We must ensure that the growth does not come at the cost of respect or resources. Our goal should be supportive teams across the board, not an unintended divide between soccer players and football players. These are classmates, teammates, and young people wearing the same colors. This decision isn't about choosing one sport over the other, in my opinion. It's about bringing more opportunities to our school and not being afraid to be different. While other schools are cutting programs and reducing opportunities, we're having a different conversation here. one that's about growth, inclusion, and belief in our students. We also cannot forget the importance of our feeder programs. Sustained success does not happen by accident. It happens when young athletes see a future and they see a pathway and a place where they belong. Supporting our youth program strengthens that pipeline and reinforces the culture we've worked so hard to build.
There's not many people up here standing, so I'm going to let you finish.
All right, thank you. I'm almost done. As a community, we need to end the divide on this issue and so many others. We should be celebrating what these young athletes are doing well, committing to their school, representing their community, and learning life lessons that will stay with them long after the final whistle. That's what this should be about. While I might not be able to claim that I'm a part of the alumni here at Prospect Mountain High School, I have given 11 years of my life to this school. I've learned leadership through sports right here at this level in high school. I've seen firsthand what happens when students lose the ability to play. Too often they lose motivation, they disengage, they struggle to finish. Sports give them a purpose, accountability, pride, and a reason to show up every day ready to work. So tonight I'm asking you and the community members here to look beyond the surface of this decision. Look at the students who haven't yet found their place. Look at the opportunities that we can create rather than the risk that we fear. Look at the chance to bring our community together instead of further apart. So many ask whether supporting another sport somehow makes me a bad coach. I would argue the opposite. Supporting this opportunity does not weaken my commitment to soccer, it strengthens it. Being a good coach is not about protecting a program out of fear, it's about having confidence in the culture you've built. I believe so deeply in our soccer program that I'm not threatened by growth somewhere else. If anything, it challenges me to be better, to lead better, and to continue building a program rooted in pride, accountability, and excellence. True leadership is not about guarding my territory, it's about lifting others while holding your own standards high. What I would ask of the board is, are we willing to be a school that limits the opportunities, or the school that believes in its students enough to create more? Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to add on,
Can you state your name? You can lift that mic up. You're kind of tall if you want. Screw that.
my name is Max Lutz. I'm a resident in Alton, New Hampshire. I was one of the students that first started posting up little papers around to start the act of putting in football into the school. I got almost 40 signatures, and I was going to prepare to come to you guys today, but I seem to have forgotten my papers. But
It's okay.
I would like to state that I have gotten photo evidence and signatures of other students who are willing to put in dedication into the sport, and I'm really glad you guys are here today to put this in here.
Well, thank you.
Hello, my name is Camden Drolet. I am a big supporter of bringing football to Prospect. I've played football before for Rochester, and I've seen how close it can bring people. When you're on a football team, you are not just a team. It turns into a family. With what you start out with friends, brings people very close, and I think it will bring a lot of more teamwork and collaboration to this school, open up more gateways for people and students to be more active at the school, and just help give more opportunities for kids to play sports in the fall. I personally can't play soccer, just not good at it. Well, decent at football, so I would really love to see it be brought to this school, give us more opportunities to play sports and be active. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Dan Pierce. I'm from Alton. I played at the highest level. I coached at a high level. I feel every kid should have an opportunity to play football if there's a chance. I commend Mr. Christie for all the research he's done. I was skeptical at first. I think you've done a great job. I've talked to friends on the football committee. I think this is a great program. This is something we need to push forward, and I'll do whatever I can to help you out.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Joshua Durnley. I'm a resident of Alton, New Hampshire, and I'm probably going to be the unpopular guy here tonight. I'm not really, I'm kind of opposed to the idea of football in Alton. I grew up in Alton. I went to school here pretty much my whole life till I pretty much got ran off 12th grade. But we always wanted to have a football program, and the big takeaway was like, it's going to take away from soccer. But we kind of always knew in the back of our head that maybe it was because they didn't want to see kids get hurt. I was a ski patroller for 8 years or 8 winters, and it really stinks when you see a kid have a serious injury, and I would hate for any of that to happen to anybody. And I'm not trying to tell people what they should or shouldn't do, but CTE is a real thing, and the literature kind of is saying that, you know, repeated head injuries, not just like one concussion, it's not good for the brain, and it's not good for the developing brain. And so that's my concern, it's just the kids getting hurt. And I'm just going to leave you with this. My grandfather, and I know technology has advanced a long ways since he graduated high school in like 46 or 47. He grew up, they were state champions, and the people that were state champions on the football team, they hung their hat on the fact that they were state champions. And what he told me, and he was a very smart man, was they never did anything with their lives after state championship, and they peaked in high school because their bodies were destroyed, their brains were mush, and they couldn't work, they couldn't do anything with their lives. So I'll just leave you with that, and thank you. Sorry to be the bummer.
It's okay, thank you.
Or I'll just take this out rather than try to duck down too much. My name is Daniel Cole, resident of Barnstead. My son, Gabe, we had to transport him to Guilford to play football. Drove him there every night, 2 hours, and it's Guilford, so guess what? You're sitting there the whole time. You get to know everybody. You get to know the coaches. You get to know everybody involved. My son changed so much because of football. Instead of, hey, where are your shoes? Where are your pants? Where are your helmet? He came, everything's ready to go. He's got the water there, he's got the extra mouth guard, he had snacks for the rest of the team. The team spirit and the camaraderie that was formed, I'm sorry to disagree, but I would argue you carry that for life. I, unfortunately, grew up with no sports. My father was anti-sport. It wasn't until my son got into sports that I started. Seeing what he's been able to do, God, I wish I could go back and do it. I had to earn that camaraderie through the military. He got it through sports at a young age. It makes them better people. And yes, there were injuries on his Guilford team. The next game, without fail, that injured team member was on the sideline, as dressed as they possibly could be, cheering the team on, and not one family complained about that injury, and I never heard a kid complain about the injury either. This is important. I never thought I would be the person standing up here saying it. It's important. It really is. Give kids the opportunity to do what they want to do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for your service.
My pleasure. Well, this isn't working. Oops, I broke it. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to add, I will be your chain guy every game. And if the board does pass this, you've already got your first 1,000.
Brandy Hawthorne, resident of Alton Bay. I have 4 children. I am on the board for the Kingswood Junior Knights football and cheer program. I'm also the team mom. This will be my third year. Definitely a fan of football. I have a lot more questions that perhaps we should do a one-on-one. I thought this was a little bit more open back and forth dialogue. So I'm definitely a fan of football and have a lot more questions to ask. Some of those are like, why are we not co-oping with Wolfboro? I'm sure you have an answer for that, but I definitely would like to hear about
So
that.
I don't see a long line, and if you folks are okay, I have no problem with her asking you questions and letting the AD try to answer questions, because there may be some ones you guys have. Everybody okay with that? I see the nods of the head. Go ahead. All right.
I feel like we're in a debate.
I'm gonna win.
You are. Yes, you are. So
I'm
co-oping,
gonna keep the timer running, but I'm just to be mindful.
okay. Are you saying that because I'm here? Yeah. The question about co-oping. So it is an avenue that you can go down. It limits the excitement of the NHIAA to add us immediately. They're much more excited that it's a school that's doing it on their own. I also feel like the data from the survey results shows us that we can do this on our own. The last thing I would add, and this is more, I think, kind of like the school culture piece, is I don't really have any interest in co-oping with a school and not being the lead school. And so you look in our area, and there are some football programs, whether it's Farmington, Belmont may be an option now that they're not with Guilford. I don't want our community going to Farmington to watch a Prospect Mountain game. I want them right here. So for me, step one was, if we are going to even think about a co-op, we have to be the lead school. That starts to limit your pool. And then, again, I think the feeder programs, yours is one, and the data that we show, supports a Division III or IV football team in this current environment, which are not 60, 70 team or man rosters, right? They're typically 25 to 40 in this environment.
Can you speak to, if this is passed, it's going to be 8-on-8, it's going to be D4, are you going to continue adding grades? Like, what does the future of the program look like?
Sure. So our enrollment would put us in Division III. We will petition down to play Division IV for the first 2-year cycle. We're a new program, let's get it off the ground, it's more appropriate competition. What I think will happen if this gets approved is we're going to make the playoffs, and we're going to get bumped to Division III, because that's the way it works with the NHIAA. If you petition down, you can't stay there. So, and then as far as 8v8 goes, there is a conversation going on right now, some of it led by people in this room going to the NHIAA saying we're seeing declining teams, rosters, all those sort of things. Right up in Maine, they play 8v8 for their small school league, which is their Division V, I believe. It's not going to happen in this 2-year cycle. It may, though, in the next 2-year cycle, and I think in terms of sustainability, that gives us, I think, a little bit more like strong foundation, because if there is an 8v8 and our numbers aren't there, you have an option to go play competitive football 8v8 versus 11v11. I don't actually think that's the way our path is going to go, but it is, it's not an option today, but I think it may be an option long term.
So we're playing real football?
We're playing 11v11 Division IV football.
Okay. And what about adding grades as you continue? What is the plan for that?
Yeah, so early on, we're going to partner with the feeder programs here locally, kind of get our feet underneath us, and then there will be conversations of, does it make sense to start adding middle school football in Barnstead and Alton, and figure out what that would look like. Realistically, not going to happen in the first 2-year cycle. We would start to look at it, in that next 2-year cycle to see if it makes sense.
Okay. I have 4 pages. That's enough for now. We'll meet.
All right, and we can do the rest. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would stay, just because.
You want me to say? Okay.
Please stay. So my name is Mercedes Frederick. I am a coach and resident in Alton along with my husband. I also sit on the Kingswood Junior Knights board for the cheer director, which is why I'm going to ask you to stand up there, okay? I do want to make a quick statement. I didn't plan on doing this, but just listening to some of the feedback, there's absolutely a future post this high school program. I'm probably going to be in a divorce after this, but I did not plan to say this, but my husband was the one and only pick out of his high school. He played Division I ball, and played in front of sold-out crowds, 75,000 people. So there's absolutely a future. He's definitely banged and bruised. There's absolutely injuries, but I know that there's a lot of people in this crowd that have the same story as him. They're just not going to come up and say that. So yeah, there is a future. The second thing I wanted to ask is that I didn't hear a lot about cheer, understandably, because you're petitioning for football. My hope or question is that, is it going to lead to the expansion of cheer on our side, in our territory? We actually expanded to 8th grade because our numbers have doubled. And cheer or spirit, I think you guys label it here today, in my personal opinion at the high school level, doesn't have a huge focus. My daughter actually cheers, and she cheers in the school hallway. So my hope is that there will be an expansion of cheer, better practice spaces, maybe the money that goes along with it, from a safety concern.
So the answer is yes.
Okay.
Is the short answer.
That's fine.
There's a lot of logistics that go along with the growth of that program. So when I got here, we didn't have middle school cheer, right? We added that last year. We had 25 kids show up. I think the middle school team this year is probably around 20. Our high school team is right around 10, I think 11. They're going to go compete this year for the first time in maybe a decade with the NHIA tournament. So love everything they're doing. And yes, we would look to expand this into the fall season, so we have cheerleading at least at the high school level in the fall, and then we'll work on the rest of it.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
We'll go over here to this, Mr. Gardner.
Good evening, folks. My name is Gardner War. I would like to enter it into the record that James Christie also peaked in high school. Just a couple quick words. In all honesty, very, very positive thing to hear. The news about the football program, the football programs and things like that. Life is dangerous, folks. And football, soccer, all the sports, they are the things that teach the allegories that we look back on later on in life to call. They teach the lessons that the other gentleman was speaking pretty eloquently about. That's important stuff. Full support on that. I thank you very much for the efforts. And please do consider this as a positive thing for the school. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gabriel Cole, and football, God, I played for 4 years in Guilford, and it did build brotherhood. I mean, all of my friends now and we worked our butts off every single day just to go out there and compete, and I'm still friends with them to this day, and just because I don't see them doesn't mean they won't be in my hearts, and I love all of them. They're all amazing, and football really builds resilience. People learn to work hard and not to give up, because you need to in this sport. It's such a competitive sport, and if I could do it all over again, I would. I mean, I don't really know what to say, but football means so much to me and a lot of other kids here, and I know everybody would benefit from it, even the people who won't play. School spirit would go up so much. Just watching football games under the lights, that'd be awesome to go watch and play in. And just thank you for getting this opportunity to add a team to Prospect.
Thank you very much.
My name is Kyle Kaplan. I'm from Franklin. My daughter recently transferred here from Franklin for academic reasons. So obviously tax purposes, I don't have a skin in the game, but I will say that I'm in full support of it. My daughter's a pretty solid athlete, and I think a lot of the things that she's excelled from and learned from and experience-wise, a lot of times has been bigger, stronger, faster. She was a 2-year varsity football player in Franklin and played for Franklin Middle School as well, where she averaged, over 120 yards on the ground and was a good wide receiver. But my son also, and not to create controversy or anything, but to assume that someone's going to peak in high school. My son's going to be going for a medical degree at New England College and played 4 years at Franklin, and is going to be playing football for New England College. And not only that, but the opportunities that come, they may not say it's money first, but for school as far as sports-wise, but there are things that open up for kids avenue-wise as far as scholarships and stuff that they can, again, it just opens up more to their opportunities in life. And then also the culture of football. I mean, I think there's several that have spoke to the camaraderie and what it builds. And for us as a family, I mean, it was really tough to leave Franklin because not only coaching there at every level, but just what we built in that community. I mean, we did team feeds every night before the football game, and it was huge. It was potluck. I mean, families were invited, and we always had plenty of food, and it just kind of helped strengthen that bond of the people in the community, and you get to know different people. So again, from the tax purpose, I have no skin in the game, but I would be here supporting it. Like if we're going to a school, like I'm all in, we're all in. I mean, like this is who we are now, and we're a Prospect family, and we're here to support it, and we'll do what we can. So I appreciate your time, and please consider.
Thank you.
Hi, Alex Casal, Alton resident. My daughter graduated a couple years ago. I have a son that's going into a senior year, if he can get a couple grades up. And then I have an incoming freshman who's at ACS right now. I coach the ACS soccer team. I've been doing that for 4 years. And I'm here in support of the football program. I played football myself, played rugby in college for UNH. And I'm supportive as long as we're fair with all the sports, kind of like what Coach Halverson said. I know that I have a couple friends that have kids that are going into their senior year that have wanted to play hockey, but they can't because we don't have a hockey program. So I just want to see if we could look at other sports as well. Lacrosse, there's a lot of players that live in the general area that have to play competitive, and they have to pay a lot of money to play lacrosse and hockey and all that, and they can't play for their high school. And then just to caution, when and if we do get down to the lower level, since I've coached the middle school for quite some time, every year there's a couple teams that can't field a team because that middle school also has football. And so as things fluctuate, before we combine with Barnstead, we're a pretty small school at ACS. We had 10 eighth graders on our team this year. We won the middle school championship, which was fantastic. I needed every single one of those athletes. If we had a football program, we might not have been able to field both a football and a soccer team because of the numbers. I mean, we had a couple fifth graders too on the A team, but like we go from fifth to eighth to make sure that we're competitive. So as those grades fluctuate, the year above that are freshmen right now at Alton, there was like 2 or 3 male athletes. They wouldn't have been able to field anything. And so just be cautious about if you go down to the lower levels, maybe combine with Barnstead like we do with the girls soccer team, because we just might not have enough athletes to go around to be able to have 2 teams consecutively. Thank you.
Thank you. The superintendent wants to say something.
So, a few years ago, we were invited into a girls' ice hockey co-op with Kingswood, and there may have been questions in the community even then about why girls' ice hockey but not boys, and it was because of the way the NHIAA does division assignments for boys' ice hockey. The NHIAA has just changed that rule. Tonight is football night. We will be having a boys' ice hockey conversation soon.
Hi, I'm Patrick Marcotte, Alton. I'm also middle school coach with Alex for soccer. I'm actually in support of football. I played football in high school. I love it. It's a great sport. It brings everybody together, community and kids. I also have questions about more or less like maintenance, field issues, timing, buses. We already have issues as it is. Those are my general points. Are we thinking about that? Are we getting through those things? I leave it to you, but just those are my questions. And generally, like, what's the structure of this? Do you guys vote on this? Is this a community vote? Like, where's this go from here?
It'd be a board vote.
It's a board vote.
That's why it's a public hearing to hear what the public wants to do.
And does it increase our taxes at all? Or these are kind of the general questions that I've heard from other people?
No, that's what Mr. Christie talked about in the beginning. It won't affect taxes this year.
This year.
Now, it could be down in the future, which should be brought back in front of the board.
Okay.
At that point, in another year, if it's successful and goes well, then possibly could.
Yeah, I would just be as transparent as possible. I mean, I think we're all for kids getting opportunities, especially in different sports. And, there's only 11, to 15 kids playing soccer every year in the varsity level. So it's a great opportunity for 20, 25 more kids to go play a sport at a high level and get out there and actually play, right? Because, it's tough to play one sport. It's like basketball, there's only 5 spots. What are you going to do? So I'm in favor of it. That's the main point, but, I'd like transparency is all.
Tax impact. So, the AD suggested earlier that the recurring operating cost could be about $20,000 a year. The tax impact of a $10,000 increase in the Alton tax rate is 0.2 of a penny per thousand, and the tax impact in Barnstead would be 0.5 a penny, 0.05 of a penny, between $1.50 and $3 on an annual tax bill would be the total cost, operating cost of football going into the future. Between $1.50 and $3 per year on the average tax bill.
Hi, I'm Tom Conrad from Alton, and just give you an old man's perspective on this. When I was working at the FDA with a multidisciplinary team, we had an interesting discussion about how it was the guys were doing so much better coordinating these teams. And it was the women who brought it up, that guys at that time, 60s and 70s, usually played team sports, particularly football, and that they brought those skills into the workplace and were able to apply that teamwork. So, yet it has purpose beyond high school, beyond college. It instills a teamwork, an attitude, a can-do attitude. So I'm definitely for it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jessica Beaton. I am a Barnstead resident. I am also the head coach for varsity cheer here at PMHS. I definitely support football. I do. I would love to see how the cheer numbers affect these numbers. That budget will be just a little bit higher. We don't need much to operate. The starting cost shouldn't be too high. We have uniforms, we have POMs, we have the basis of our program. I would just like to see how those numbers fit into the total. And we are supportive.
Thank you.
Hi, I don't talk in front of people very well. I am Heather, I'm an Alton resident. I'm also an alumni here at Prospect Mountain. When I went here, football was like a massive talk, and it was all because of insurance and all of that stuff, and they never brought it. I was also a cheerleader here at high school at Prospect, and I would have loved to cheer throughout the fall time. I was also a dancer, so it was another thing for me to do that I enjoyed doing. I am also the head coach here of the middle school, both Alton and Barnstead. We have combined the both schools, and I have about 16 girls, so James was right. And this year we get to compete for the first time ever. I don't know if I know nothing about Barnstead and their cheer program that they had umpteen years ago, but I know that when I went to Alton Central, there was absolutely no cheer team. And for the fact that this is our second year that we have brought this program to the school and we get to compete is phenomenal. I do support football, but there are a lot of what ifs, and I think that all of you have amazing questions and comments and concerns, and I think that you guys also need to think about the children and the upcoming children. So not only is it going to bring another sport, 2 other sports into this school, but it's also going to bring the opportunity to bring more sports to the elementary schools than that they're eventually going to love and possibly do throughout college, and we can dream big and maybe join the NFL. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Howard. I'm an Alton resident. I also serve as the president of the Kingswood Youth Football and Cheer Program. I just wanted to mention, like most people here, I am in support of this and bringing football to Prospect. My son started playing when he was in 2nd grade in the Rochester program because there was nothing else in the area. And We knew that football was not offered at Prospect, and I assumed that it wouldn't be just because of the interest and the student population that we have here. But I will say, when he started on the Wolfboro team in second grade, he was the only Alton kid in the program. We currently serve about 20, and that's just in Alton. It doesn't include Barnstead, so we've seen a significant growth in the youth feeder program, which has been really encouraging. I wasn't sure when the survey went out how many middle school and high school students would be interested, so it's wonderful to see the turnout here, and it seems like there's a lot of support. So I just wanted to say that, there are kids coming up through, and again, we're just one of the feeder programs, so it's definitely growing, and especially here with our ACS population.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak? If not, I will close the public hearing. Closed. Next up is I will do a Pledge of Allegiance. If we can get, so I can, everybody please rise for Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Whoops. Yeah, I forgot that earlier. My bad. So, next up is our agenda review. I am going to move on our action items to the possibility of a football program, so that way we can, if you want to go home or if you'd like to stay for the rest of the board, we'd love to see all your smiling faces. So first off, so we'll take a motion on agenda review.
Make a motion to approve the agenda. Second.
Motion and second. Besides the one change I have, is there other changes or additions? Seeing none, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Okay, then we'll move right into the first action item, which is regarding starting a varsity football program. And
I make a motion to approve the process to start a varsity football program at Prospect Mountain.
I'll second it.
Thanks, Mike.
okay, there's a motion and second and open for discussion. So does the board have anything that they would like to say or discuss?
Like I've mentioned before, it's like if this was any other program or academic wise, when we have that much interest in a program, it's something we should offer. So
I agree. I think seeing all the attendance, and it's very.
This is why we did a public hearing. We wanted to see people come here to show up in support of this, because again, this is a decision will affect both the communities, and then we're the ones up here have to make the decision for it and live with it. So, with that being, go ahead, Brandy.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that I appreciated the question too that brought to the table the transparency piece. I think that's really important as a community. I think that's why we wanted this discussion ahead of today's meeting. So thank you for that. And I just wanted to ask my fellow board members, any concerns with respect to the budget impacts, the potential tax impact with that increased operating cost of the athletics line after this year? Everyone good?
Yeah, I mean, you want to say anything?
Okay.
There's a piece of this that hasn't been discussed tonight, and this year it's time to discuss it more directly than we have been since Prospect Mountain became the first school district in New Hampshire to become an open enrollment school. We have collected revenue this year. That will be returned to our taxpayers. We are going to collect more revenue next year and more the year after that. And that much of that revenue, if not all of it, will be returned to our taxpayers. So while the impact on a tax bill of a football program by itself might only be a few dollars, it's realistic to expect that our school's impact on Alton and Barnstead property taxes is going to be offset by greater revenues. And the reason I bring this up is because more opportunities for students makes a more attractive school for folks who are looking for a destination that meets their child's needs. Open enrollment results in revenue, but it is about opportunity for students. More kids in this school with our kids from Alton and Barnstead is good for everybody. This program ultimately is going to pay for itself when you factor in all of that.
Is there any other questions from the board? Concerns? If seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any abstentions or opposed? Passes unanimously. I can pause for a second if you want to leave or you want to stay. All right, I'll give you a second. I'll give you a second to leave and move into our stuff. How's that sound?
This is right up your alley.
I know, I'm excited for them. I'm excited for them. It'll be good for them. And it's gonna be a great thing for the school.
That's the right thing for the community.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be, you know.
Water, sir.
And it's just up and running. We have Friday night games.
What are you insinuating? I mean, do you have something better?
No, I see the positive, especially being with open enrollment.
And that's gonna be you watch.
Can't wait to see hockey.
But it also will have a domino effect on programming, everything. You know,
We're simply gonna have more. We're not gonna, programs not gonna lose. Other programs are gonna have more.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen.
I found it on the thing, but I didn't come to it, and I've been so busy. I didn't notice it.
All right, for those brave souls that chose to stay, we do have one announcement that the superintendent would like to put out there.
I just want to give an opportunity for Kevin Evans to be introduced to the board and then be able to go home before you go into the rest of your business meeting. You'll see his name again under your personnel report tonight, but we have appointed Kevin, and he started as our shared facilities director across all 3 schools. It's his second week, or it's still his first? Last Monday. It's his second week. Kevin doesn't come to us directly from another school system, but he did spend 12 or 13 years at Co-Brown Northwood Academy as their director of facilities. He's worked in a hospital setting since then, and had actually relocated out of the area, and that in order to do that, but was coming back with his wife. Great timing and luck for us. So again, he's on your personnel report tonight, but just to give him a chance to be introduced so you all know who he is. Some of you will be working with him, particularly on the Buildings and Grounds Committee, and as we deal with some maintenance issues, especially when James starts beating up the fields even more, we'll be working with Kevin a lot. So Kevin Evans, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Nice
Thank
to
you.
meet you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have the approval of minutes of December 16th, public and non-public meeting.
Make a motion to approve December 16th, 2025, public and non-public meeting minutes. Second.
Any changes, additions, subtractions? Seeing none, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Abstentions? No. Passes. Next up is our first public input for agenda items only, same as we just did. Come to Mike, state your name, 3 minutes, and total of 15 minutes total. So, first public input. All right, seeing none, hearing none, we will close this public input. School board, if needed, does anybody on the school board need to make any announcements? Or? Seeing none. Finance is in our packet. Heidi, you want to go over anything?
We're still doing very well, hopefully. I do have, we did receive a donation. They want to remain anonymous. It's $3,000 to go towards the negative student lunch accounts here at the high school. Very generous. It was a Christmas present to the district, so that's wonderful. I just wanted you guys to all know.
Any donation above 1,000 requires the school board action? So this may actually be below the threshold that requires the school board to vote to accept the gift, but I actually have something similar in my report where you don't have to vote to accept it.
Make a motion to accept the gift of $3,000 for the lunch accounts. Second.
Any questions, concerns?
Just thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This is a tough set. I will say that. Next up is the principal's report. Mr. Latcho.
The majority of the principal's report is actually my annual report. If you haven't had a chance to read it, please definitely take some time to do so. I purposely tried to write something that really highlights how special this place is, and it's by design very aspirational to coincide with where our school's headed. So I think it speaks for itself, but as is always the case, I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Any questions of the principal? All right, seeing none, thank you very much. Next up, buildings and grounds report. In your packet, anything that, questions on or concerns? Okay, seeing none, move on.
Sorry, Jason, real quick, sorry. The light, when you first walk into the main entrance, is that on the radar to be fixed? It's like strobe lighting? Or
It is.
Could it be on?
It is now.
It probably is on the radar.
It is now, he said, either
Okay,
way.
Thank
It
you.
is?
Okay.
All right.
Like, I'm sure it is. I just want to make sure that was fixed sooner rather than later.
Yeah, Heidi knew about it, yes.
Thank you.
I thought
Okay.
something was wrong in here.
It's like a party when you walk in at night.
All right, well, thank you for that. Athletic department, Krista, anything to say?
You want me to talk?
Not really.
No? Yeah, hey.
Anything else to add?
I was going to wait for the public comments part, but thank you all so much for, I think this did a lot. I know it did a lot for you guys too, but I think even just the community, seeing how many other people in the community. So thank you for the recommendation, and obviously thank you for the approval. We're super psyched about it, so thank you so much.
It's all up to you to prove it, so.
Hey, this is what I do, buddy.
All right.
This is what I do.
All right. Student rep, Jude. Somebody have a mic for Jude? Or?
I'm really far. Honestly, I
Just,
think I'm
you want to use that mic up there? How's that?
Hey, just grab this one.
Or that mic?
I mean, I'm all these. So I didn't have much to report on this month because we've only been back to school for a couple weeks, but both the girls and boys basketball teams have been doing pretty well. At the time that I wrote this, the girls had no losses, so that's pretty good. And I also just wanted to shout out the music department for having a concert on December 17th. It was great to see, all of our band and choir students thrive on stage. Yeah, that's really all I got.
Any questions of our student rep, Jude? Thank you very much.
Sorry, I promise to be quiet after this. The Poetry Out Loud, it was last minute. It's going to be rescheduled, so we'll get an update when it becomes available, but the advisor wasn't available yesterday, so
Awesome.
tell your friends.
Poetry Out Loud.
Yes.
We don't know the date yet, you said?
No, it's to be determined right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, SAU, Superintendent Matt Zolkis.
Thank you very much. Just a couple quick items to go through tonight. You'll see at the top of my report, I have the K through 12 vertical alignment. As you know, one of the things that we did over the last couple of years here at Prospect Mountain High School is really work on our grade 9 curriculum across the board. And we put together a scope and sequence along with common assessments and rubrics. And throughout this year, they'll be revising those, but also beginning development on grade 10. Today, as a matter of fact, our Social Studies Department Chair Liz Kahn met with teachers in grades 5 through 8 from Alton and Barnstead to begin the process of aligning the 5 through 8 curriculum up to our 9th grade so that we can start to look at continuity, but also if there are any gaps or overlaps, we can certainly start to look at those. The idea would be is once that 5 through 8 is done, then we'll start to look at K through 4. On January 27th, our math group will meet with grades 5 through 8 as well. Luke Lafreniere, along with Dave Latchar will be facilitating that. And then we'll also have our science group going sometime in early February. We will not be working on ELA at this time, only because of the literacy committee. And the work that they're doing, we'll wait until that comes out before we have to worry about any type of alignment on that piece of it. So a good opportunity for us to really start to get that vertical piece for all three schools. So today's feedback was very positive. There's still a lot of work to be done, but we'll continue to move forward with that throughout the school year and utilizing our professional development days on that as well. Earlier this year, I had talked to you about our STAR assessments that happen here at the high school. We do it through K through 8, and we've been having conversations as to whether or not it makes sense next year to switch over to PSAT. PSAT is prep. There's a PSAT 8-9 and then a PSAT 10. So the idea is that when we do our SAT in April next year, we would also do our PSAT for our 9th graders and our PSAT for our 10th graders. Why the shift? When you look at the information that's presented from College Board and you do some research on it, it shows that students' scores increase on the SAT as they go through the PSATs because they get familiar with the test, they get familiar with the way they ask the questions and things of that nature. But it's not just that piece of it. It's also sitting down with them and reviewing the data, talking about their strengths and weaknesses, very similar to the stuff that we would use in STAR. And so we are going to be moving forward with next year looking at the PSAT instead of the STAR.
Matt,
yes.
could I just suggest that we've gone back and forth over the last how many years with different testing, that we can't compare apples and apples at all. Can we make like an effort to make sure that we stay with this for a while, so we get some longitudinal numbers that we can work with?
I hear Mr. Colin, and you know that one of the things that we discussed was that idea of switching, and the idea too is that the hope is to be able to compare the apples to the apples. Right?
Yeah.
We get the STAR information. It's a quicker test. It's a 30-minute assessment versus 3 times a year versus the PSAT, which is 1 time per year.
Yeah.
But again, it will be consistent each year, April to April, so we can compare apples to apples.
Great, thanks for doing that, Matt. I appreciate that.
So, thank you. And lastly, the ed laws, again, I keep bringing the updates to you. So one of the things that through the ed law 306 is the school counseling program. Linda Sheff is leading the charge throughout the entire system and developing a comprehensive K through 12 counseling program. They're in the works on that, so I would imagine sometime in May we will bring it to all 3 boards. That process, you will have to vote that in as part of the ed law 306. So.
Any questions? All right, seeing none. Go on. The superintendent's report.
On my report, which you received via email and have in hard copy on your table, I've got a summary regarding collective bargaining, what your negotiating team accomplished with the teachers and sports staff. You have ratification of these contracts in your action items tonight, and you have all of the detail in a separate bound booklet here. The warrant articles to Sanbornize, the cost of each agreement are included on the 2nd page are Alton's, and on the 3rd page are Barnstead's. You will not act on those during this meeting. You are ratifying the agreements under action items during this meeting, and then the Alton board will meet later to make its warrant article recommendation, and Barnstead will do that at its next scheduled meeting this month. If you have questions about my written reports on the current status of the Granite State Academy Alternative Program, the situation with audio and video recording, if there's any question or discussion about that, I've taken a stance here, and if you've read the report, we are taking a much, I think, more reasonable, cautious approach to this than some schools have chosen. If you disagree with my reasoning, I'd be happy to talk about it. I think we are going to see legislative action over the next year or so on special education service portability from students' districts of residence to charter schools in particular. based on the dynamics, again, included in my written report, which will be included in the minutes and part of the public record of this meeting. And then finally, and this doesn't require a vote, we have received another, every once in a while, Mr. Shirtliff, who's a member of the Alton Budget Committee, donates resources for use in our history department through his association with Camp Constitution. They publish and distribute to public schools, not just here, but across the state, printed copies of the United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and most recently, a framed poster and book about the monument to the forefathers, which if you've ever been to Plymouth, Massachusetts, you might have driven by it and not known what it was. It's been there since 1889, and as we have in the past, when Mr. Shirtliff donates these sorts of resources, I'll work with the principal and just make sure that they're available as resources as they appropriately align with the curriculum in our U.S. history classes. So just sort of public thanks to Hal for that, because it's nothing that rises to the kind of cost level, again, where the board has to accept it. But I think you should be aware, and again, it's nice for a little public recognition for somebody who consistently supports our high school.
Absolutely.
Anybody have any questions or concerns on the superintendent's report? All right, seeing none, hearing none, we'll move along. Next up, we're on the action items.
Make a motion to approve the collective bargaining agreement with the PMPA.
Second.
Does anybody in the negotiation team want to talk to it at all, or?
I know you've put in a lot of hard work.
We're good? Okay. All right. All right. Any other questions? None? All right. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Any opposed? Abstentions? I see none. Okay.
Make a motion to approve the collective bargaining agreement with the PMESPA.
I'll second it.
Second. Is there questions about this? All right. Seeing none, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed, abstentions? See none. Did the football program already? We have a second reading on a policy.
Make a motion to approve second reading and adoption for JICL-R.
Second.
Second. Anybody have questions? Seeing none, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions? Okay. We have personnel.
Make a motion to approve special education director.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion, or somebody needs to go non-public with it, or all good? Seeing none, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Did you have something else? You're good? Okay. Okay, next up is we'll have our second public input. Again, it's 3 minutes at the mic, up to 15 minutes. With that being said, I would like to address something first. I would like to address Ms. Pika and the social media on the hiring process with special education regarding certification. So 2 years ago, and was looked to at the time. However, I am in contact with the board's lawyer and Department of Education to follow up with the request. So I have contacted both, so I hope to hear back and have something for next meeting. Second issue raised by Ms. Pika concerning her employment. Ms. Pika has never been employed at Prospect Mountain High School. Ms. Pika was employed at Barnstead Elementary School 3 years ago. Last time worked June of 22. This board has no authority to address the concerns Ms. Pika has. I would suggest that Ms. Pika address the issues to the Barnstead board, because we can't do anything up here. That being said, the mic is open.
Kim Pika, Barnstead. In my recent and past remarks, I have been intentional in stating that I am not here to accuse the board of any wrongdoing. I am here to ask for protection. I care deeply that you and your families live in this community, just as mine does. In a small town where words travel quickly and reputations are at stake, I am careful with my words because protecting people matters to me. For those unfamiliar with non-public sessions, decisions are made by majority vote. One vote or even several cannot outweigh that majority. Because private votes are not visible, board members acting in good faith may be judged by association rather than by their individual actions, making it unfair to assume intent or assign blame to those who may in fact be advocating for the community. However, protection from public scrutiny only exists when rules are applied equally during public sessions. I understand the need for time limits, structure, and limits on engagement during public input. Those rules exist for a reason, but concern arises when they're applied differently depending on the speaker or topic. I encourage you to review last month's meeting recording. Please compare the strict enforcement of my 3-minute limit with the following speaker who was allowed to speak for 3.5 minutes without a timer sounding. Then observe how engagement shifted between the speakers, reflected in the questions asked, the laughter shared, and the overall tone. Although we address different topics, the rules governing time limits and board engagement should not change based on subject matter or speaker. When rules are not applied equally, it creates reasonable questions about how procedures are applied in non-public sessions and raises serious concerns about viewpoint discrimination under the First Amendment. I speak during public input to help you understand what this community lost, because you are the ones with the ability to change it. Instead, I feel the same exclusion and mistreatment I experienced at the end of my employment. For me, this wasn't about simply losing a job, it was about losing all the community connections I had here. I volunteered in many roles, teaching story hour, running playgroup, serving on the PTO, and organizing events such as the BES Talent Show. Before my employment, I spent a year helping the school librarian redesign the library, and I also opened my home to children during snow days, vacations, and summer breaks, so they would have a safe place to go while their parents worked. Some of those children were your children. I gave to this community during a time when I was able to give. The year I was forced to resign and lost my connections to this community was also the year I experienced significant personal hardship. When it was my time to lean on this community for emotional support, I was forced to do it without the activities and connections that gave me joy. So while you continue to volunteer, coach, and serve invisible roles within this community, I ask that you remember that more than 30 devoted employees are still grieving the loss of their roles and connections to this community, each leaving a piece of their heart here. For me, the last 6 years of fully enjoying my children's childhood were taken away by decisions made by an individual whose presence during public input remains behind a screen.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, hearing none, I will close public input. Let's see, future agenda items and follow-up. GSA lunch update, I guess ongoing. You talked about charter public school. That's in your report tonight. We'll have more buildings and grounds. Application for attendance. Not sure what that is either. But
We'll figure that out.
all right. I did bring up Chromebook use for members who would like to use them.
Yeah, so we have them. So if anyone, when we've talked about this in the past, it hasn't been a super popular idea, which is fine. We have paper packets. We can continue to make paper packets. I think we will continue to make paper packets for board meetings. If board members want, if any of you, it doesn't have to be everyone, if anyone wants to come in and grab a Chromebook, open it up and access the PDF, you know, the Google Drive with all of the packet resources on it, we can make those available. It would be helpful to know sort of how many you're likely to want. And again, when we've talked about it in the past, it's been sort of an idea. And so what a lot of boards have done who have done this is they've gone paperless. They've refused to print things anymore, and everybody has to use a device. It doesn't always go great for everyone on a school board. So we're just prepared to make it up to you. So if you want to shoot us an email, send it to me, send it to Sarah, let us know. We can work with IT, and starting at your next meetings, we can have enough Chromebooks here for you to log on. When you first set up your email and got into our Google domain, you had a password. You might not know it now because you don't use it, right? You're probably already in. So it would be helpful to know who's going to show up wanting to do this so we can be prepared to, yep, our tech's nodding, so we can be prepared to reset your password and help you get on for the first time. And you might even want to come a half an hour early, but we can do it.
Are you looking forward?
No, I don't need to know now. Send us an email. Let us. Look, you don't want to all do it, right? We don't want to abandon paper completely. We already know this. We can make Chromebooks available for any of you who would prefer to use them.
I brought it up because some of the dynamics of board has changed. Just want to make sure that everybody knew there's an option if they didn't want to paper, they can use the Chromebooks, so.
It's not a big deal for us to do it. Like, if we just know, we'll have them here. Hopefully in the other room, where it's a little more comfortable to have a board meeting.
Yeah. Okay, any other business? All right, seeing none. We will go to non-public, but, so, future meeting will be February 17th. And with that, I'm just going to read into non-public.
Make a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91-A:3 II, A, and C.
Second.
Take a roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
We are now in non-public. We'll give everybody a chance to scoot out.